Oh, Chan made everything an adventure, everything except the speed of his actual work. But everything else was an adventure. I mean, if you think of a young 8-year-old boy or 7-year-old boy, today kids play with GI Joe action figures, and we had a real one who was our uncle because, as I said, he never really left the military or merchant marine. So he spent most of his time that I knew him in uniform. He wore khaki. Sometimes he wore a tie, and it would be tucked into his blouse, as you would call it, in military fashion. He'd wear a pith helmet. He drove a Jeep. He called it a vehicle. And so he was always on maneuvers, and it was fun to go out with him because he made it an adventure. Chandler was not a standard issue fellow. Chan's work is admirable to most people for its blinding attention to detail. It's almost like fractal geometry. If you get in closer, there's another level of detail. You get in closer with a magnifying glass, you say, oh my God, there's detail on the detail. You have to appreciate it from that standpoint, from a technical standpoint, and a Ripley's believe it or not, how did he do it standpoint. But it's not everybody's favorite work, and not just because it's nautical and often military. My theory of why some people don't like it is that we are used to photography and paintings which have conventional composition. So it's a picture of something. So here's the big foreground object. That's what the picture is going to be about. And there's some relevant, interesting, well-composed detail around it. So it's a created picture with a privileged perspective and it's usually an important foreground statement. Chan's inspiration was the ocean and the ships that plied it. And he'd spent so much time there himself and so much time in study of the ocean that his paintings, when he was left to his own devices, were much more faithful to what you would see if you were flying over the ocean and looking down and seeing a ship somewhere than how our conventional notions of a ship on the ocean would have it. We want to see the ship big and bold and get a good look at it, and there's a little sea around it to show that it's on the ocean. In Chan's paintings, the ocean is absolutely dominant and limitless and gray as far as we can see, and lo and behold, here will be this little tiny tanker the size of your finger down in a corner, which makes a unsatisfying painting in terms of composition. But as someone who's sailed across the Atlantic myself, it is absolutely faithful to what it's representing because the ships are inconsequential in the real ocean, and hence most of his work captures that feeling of the ship being lost in this huge sea.